Whoops, hit the wrong button. This is the one. Hey, everybody. I almost turned the broadcast off. Hey, everybody. I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. All right, so we got another Saturday night. There is, I'm not sure if there's any hockey on at the moment. I think it's the Oilers Vegas tonight. I think the Oilers beat them or are beating them, one of the two. So we can talk. I didn't see any of it, but we could talk about that. Gerard Gallant got fired from the well, they say it's mutual. He probably got fired from the New York Rangers. I just put out a Lafreniere video. It kind of probably affects that, right? Whether or not Lafreniere would get traded, because I don't think he got along with Gallant. So if you ask me, the move for the Rangers, they made the right one. I don't think Gallant was the guy, especially if you can't get along with a first-round pick like that. I don't know. Anyways, I'm making things up. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the whole situation, but if he got fired, yeah. So probably Lafreniere might not come here now at all, which is fine. It was just a rumor anyway, right? All right, so we got that to talk about. Sometime in this broadcast here, I will read, I guess, an excerpt from my my first book, which is not done yet, but I'm about halfway through. It's a kid's book, but it's still, anyways, it's about hockey. And I'm going to read that and see what you guys think of that. Probably 2 pages of it. I've got 4. And whatever you guys want to talk about, that's fine. Let's see who's here. And we'll go from there. I've been out all day, so I just got home about an hour before this, so I'm a little all over the place. Let's see. Habs Guru, evening Rick. With Gallant being fired, they might use Lafreniere more, kind of like the who's DD again? Dom Ducharme and Caulfield situation in Montreal. Well, that's what I was just saying. Like I said in my video, I kind of don't think Gallant and Lafreniere get along. So this is probably, I mean, it's probably a contributing factor to why Gallant got fired, along with very underperforming Rangers team in the first round, I think. At least that's what they felt, I would imagine. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Man, I almost, by the way, Bob Cat in the house. Hey, Bob. I almost hit end broadcast again. My hand wants to go to end broadcast. I don't know why. Let's see. Hey, Filibuster. How you doing, man? Stand man. Oilers up 4-0, 12:56 left in the second. There you go. I didn't think the game was over, but morning from Sydney. Awesome. Joe the Snoop from Sydney. It's either Sydney in Nova Scotia or Australia. I don't know which one, but welcome to the channel, Joe the Snoop. Let's see. Oh, well, that's it. So anything you guys want to talk about? I don't have a ton really to talk about now. There's not that much news about the Habs, as far as I can tell. I haven't seen anything. I keep my eyes out. Yeah, I keep them out. I take them out during the day. I put them here at Twitter. I go do stuff. I keep my eyes open for stuff, and I haven't really seen any news. I don't think till the I don't think there'll be any news till the draft lottery. So, you know, we'll see what happens. That's on Monday. We're just a little less than 2 days away. If you don't know or hadn't heard, there's a time change on that. It's supposed to be at 7:00 on Monday. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern. From New South Wales, awesome, Joe the Snoop. Welcome to the channel. Australia happens to be a country I really like and would like to visit one day, but don't know if I'll ever do that. But awesome. Great to have you. Hey, welcome to the channel. I know the time difference is really the time difference. Like, what time is it over there? Must be like early in the morning on Sunday over there, I would imagine. Pete the Fist in the house. How's it going, Pete? I haven't talked to Pete in a little while. He's been sort of away on business, and we haven't spoken a little bit lately. So, Pete the Fist in the house. What's OZ? Aussie. Yeah. With Suzuki, Doc, Monahan, Beck, PLD, and Bedard, who is a 1, 2, 3, 4 C? Well, wait a second. First of all, we don't have BLD and we don't have Bedard, so I'm not gonna put them in the list. So we have them. Monahan, I believe, will be gone. So but I think you got them in order. Take Monahan out, and then take the two last ones out, and you got them in order. 1, 2, 3. I think Doc may be a number one center. I just don't think this year. He's got to fully emerge. It's 10:30 a.m. there, so you're saying it's 26 hours different? No, 12. Math, 14 hours difference. That's it, or that much. But awesome for you to be here. Awesome. We're doing the draft lottery. If you want to check us out on Monday at 8 p.m. I'll be on the air at 7 p.m. our time here, which would be, I would imagine, 9 a.m. for you guys. Pete's all done, got his certification, and he's good to start teaching. Awesome. Well done, Pete. Congrats. Phil says we will soon enough have PLD and who else was it? PLD and Bedard. Yeah. First of all, I'm not personally. I think if we're gonna get PLD, it's gonna be in a free agent way. They're gonna sign him as a free agent. I don't really see them unless they really, really, really want him and feel they might not get him. They might trade for him. I don't think that's the case here, that they're going to have to trade for him. And Bedard, well, listen, we'll find out on Monday. That's all. We'll find out on Monday. I'd love it. I'm not saying no, but, till that pick is in our hands, don't count your chickens before they're hatched. If the Habs get the number 3 pick, do you think they would trade this and the Florida pick, plus a couple of prospects for the number 1 to the team that has the first pick? Well, I'm going to answer it the same way I always answer it. If you're the team with the number 1 pick, are you going to trade Montreal the number 1 pick for that? For me, no. So, no. They may try, but honestly, and that number 1 pick going to cost you a lot more than that. I would think it's going to cost you a lot more than that, to the point where it's not worth it. Yeah, that's Bob. I'm glad you did that. Everybody, welcome Joe to the channel. It's a very, I think it's a very friendly community. It's not a big one. We're growing, but it's not huge. And I think everybody's very friendly. And so it's a great place to be. Hopefully, you're far away and everything, but hopefully you keep checking us out. Joe, yeah, it's going to, more than likely going to be 5th, 6th, or 7th, right? They're going to get pushed back 1 or 2, depending on who gets the picks. They possibly could get that number 3, but it's a 0.03% of a chance for them to get that. It's not going to happen. Really. And they could get the 1st and or the 2nd, right? So we'll have to see. I'm just not going to count my chickens before they're hatched and maybe possibly jinx that. I just realized I've got nothing on my chair. I'm going to change that. Just give me a second, guys. I have it all prepared here. I'm just going to go simple with that. There, I feel better. I felt naked there. I was wondering why. Where was I? How many people are in? Got 14. I'm going to do this while we get more conversation going in the chat. I'm going to read 2 pages of my upcoming. It's not being printed or anything. I'm still writing it, but it will come out. I'll probably be selling this on my channel when it's all done. It's called My Life with Hockey, or How I Fell in Love with the Game. And here goes. I'm just going to read two. It's like an excerpt. I might have read some of this before, but I've edited it, and like a rewrite, it's a little different. I want your opinions. So if you're all ready for that, here we go. Had to do that. Hockey to me is such a great game. It's the greatest sport of all. I started playing this game of hockey when I was barely 3 feet tall. My very first memory of the game was watching my big brother play. Jumping out on the ice with his teammates still gives me goosebumps to this day. He was my older brother. I looked up to him with awe. To see him skating on the ice, I fell in love with what I saw. I begged my parents to get me skates. I had to learn today. I had to get out on that ice and with my brother play. I had to get skates. I begged and cried. I might have used words from the gutter. Then one day, to my utter surprise, they got me a pair of cheese cutters. I loved those skates, but the older kids made fun. Today, it's still... No, I'm going to read that again. I love those skates, but the older kids made fun. Today, it still kind of rankles. But at least I wasn't one of them skating on their ankles. I was able to skate out there on my own. Hey, look, I don't really suck. So, of course, I asked my dad if he would get me a stick and a puck. So now I'm there with all the kids. Oh, yeah, I belong in this place. Then all of a sudden, my skate hits a rut, and I fall flat on my face. I got up and brushed myself off, got to feeling like I didn't belong. But I just shrugged my shoulders and with a big grin, skated off proud and strong. That scene played out so many times as a kid. I wore out so many pairs of skates. Barely a day was missed out on the ice. Canadian kids of my time can relate. Every day after school, we'd go straight to the rink till we had to go home to eat. Sometimes on the weekend, our parents would let us go back to the rink as a treat. Every weekend morning after eating our meal, we'd rush out to the rink. Not much time to dry our equipment out. Man, did our equipment stink. There you go. That's the first 2 pages. Hope you liked that. Let me know what you thought, and we'll continue with what you guys got up here. Look for that in fine stores everywhere sometime in the future, hopefully. But it'll definitely, when it's all done, I'll be selling it through the channel. A good hockey book you can read to your kids. And yeah, so I think it's pretty good. Hey, Phil, thanks. I appreciate that. And the value of rewriting, I don't usually, most of my poems I put up here, I didn't rewrite. My serious ones, I started to do rewrites, and fix them up and make them flow better. And yeah, the value of that. Hey, Sofka, thanks. I appreciate that. Okay, where was I? Do I still have parents? My dad is still, I'm going to go see him tomorrow, but he's getting old. My mom passed away like 9 years ago. And the brother that I talk about that like, that's a true thing, but he passed away. He was 27. So I was 25. I'm 60. So 35 years ago. So this is based on my life. It really literally is based on my life. It's not everything and actually how it happened, but with some editorial license, but it's all basically, that. And that's how it started. I started off with that idea. And this is from all 4 pages is 3 sittings of writing. And about halfway, I've got, 6 verses on each, 12. So it's 24. Yeah, I'm about halfway. I've got 24 verses written. Thank you, Sofka. It's been a long time. It's fine. Thanks, Guru. Appreciate that. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. That's something I do here. I do a lot of poetry, Habs poetry, hockey poetry. So, and I think pretty soon I'm going to start a second channel for my serious poetry. Yeah, I'm not Mr. Seligman. That's my dad. He's still around, still hanging in there. Thank you, Stan the Man. Okay, so what did I miss now? I must have missed something. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Bob could write some too. Bob wrote me some in a comment. And yeah, it was good stuff too. And anybody, if anybody wants, like, if you want a chance to put your poem out there, I mean, get in touch with me. Maybe put you on a video, or maybe I'll read it, whatever. But if you're, I don't mind doing something like that. There's one of my boys. Let me see. Faint Smile is my middle guy. That's Jesse there. Thanks, Jess. Appreciate it. That's where I was today. I was with my two youngest. We went shopping. Good to see you on the channel there, Jess. Let me see now. I know I bypassed some comments. Let's see if I can go back there. Bob says, I'm not sure if it's been discussed before, but I wasn't shocked by the firing of Sutter. I wasn't either. In Calgary, it was said it was a very toxic and fearsome environment. I kind of knew he was going to get fired. A couple of months ago, when they were asking about a player, and he went, "Who? Let me see the roster." And he made was one like, really? You treat a young guy like that, and you're not long for that team, and you got fired. Caulfield contract will be done very soon, so says Molson. Yeah, I mean, it'll be done. I'm not really worried that he's gonna, it's not gonna get done. It's just, how much? That's got to be what something's holding it up. Five nothing Oilers. So McDavid's got two. Draisaitl's got two. They're pouring it on. Hey, Peter, it's been a while. How you doing? Happy we have Marty after reading the Sutter stuff. Yeah, I mean, God, players. Yeah, coaches like Sutter. They're kind of. I think that they're the old guard, and I think they gotta sort of. It's time for them to take a seat on their rocking chair in their front porch and let some new age kind of coaches take over. I mean, it ain't working. And I got to scroll just a little. I met my great grandfather, one of them. But I met my great grandfather. He was 106, I want to say, when he died, back in 72. Well, my great grandfather is actually somewhat famous. So Montreal, what's one of the things Montreal's known for besides smoked meat? What's Montreal known for? Bagels. It's my great grandfather. My great grandfather, the first person ever in Canada to commercially make bagels and sell them. That's what commercially means. So here in Montreal. So he's kind of famous for that. And St. Viator Bagel, not today, but in his day, best bagel around. So I have a little bit of history there through my great grandfather. There's a book, if you want to look it up, he's mentioned in a book called Saturday Night at the Bagel Factory. I don't know the author, to be honest, but he's written about in there. And, it says that he was the first person, but I know because he was my great grandfather and I met him. Do not read what? Are you telling them not to read your poem? Sufka says he can write poems too, but since my English is not good, I don't feel confident to write them in your language. Totally understand that. Totally understand that. And Phil says might end up even better. That shouldn't stop you from writing, though. Joe says, I fell in love with the sport due to watching every Winter Olympics on TV since '88. In fact, I'm going to an Australian Ice Hockey League game this evening. Awesome, Joe. That's really cool. What's the quality of hockey down there in that league, say? The Rangers and Gallant have parted ways. Yes, talked about that at the beginning of the show. Don't fail before you try. Actually, failure's not a bad. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. Don't sell yourself short before you give it a try. Honestly, if I don't know that I listened to that specifically when I started this channel, but I also didn't think about not being successful at all. I wouldn't really call myself successful here, but and so it never stopped me. And yeah, I mean, if I really was that word, like I wouldn't have written poetry. I wouldn't have put out any of those songs I did. Right? I mean, so yeah, you got to just try, but don't let it stop you in your own language for sure. Just find someone who can translate it. But some things don't translate the same. Strange that the Oilers are on prime time tonight instead of the Leafs. They play tomorrow. It's strange what they're doing with the Leafs. The Leafs aren't getting a Saturday night game, I don't think, in this round two. Next Sunday as well, it's going to be the Leafs. So maybe Gary Bettman ain't happy with them. So I don't know. Doesn't bother me. Yeah, Bob. I mean, you make sense, right? When Trey Living got the axe as the GM, usually the GM they bring in a new one. He wants his own coach, also, right? I mean, that's usually the case. So, Stan the Man, I like you. I'm gonna forget you said that. I'm gonna tell you why. Fairmount Bagel claims to be the original bagel. They kind of really dissed my grandfather. They were partners at one point. After my grandfather started his business, they were kind of partners, and then split. And they claim, and I don't eat Fairmount Bagels. They can go fuck themselves, as far as I'm concerned. So, please don't mention Fairmount Bagels to me. Yeah, I mean, you didn't know, so don't worry about it. But yeah. Stan the Man, St. Peter Bagel, I'll give you, isn't the same as it used to be, but still good. And I've had them both, and I like St. Peter Bagel, but it's not the same owner. It's an Italian guy. He's owned it for a long time, but he doesn't make them the same as my grandfather did. My great grandfather did. Jesse, I didn't eat yet. I put it in the fridge. I'm gonna heat it up and eat after. I didn't really have time, and I didn't want to be all full when I'm doing this. So I'll let you know, though. Joe, but they'll get better. It takes a while, but just give it support, and over time they will get better. Stan, you did not know that, so you don't have to be sorry. Don't worry about it. I'm having fun with you. It's true what I said, but I mean, I'm not. Why would I be mad at you? You didn't know anything. Isidore Schlafman and Jacob Drabkin were said to be the first to introduce the bagel to Montreal January. Now, that's whoever wrote that. They can also go fuck themselves. Because I know that to be very incorrect. Yeah. I dare say the Schlaf, like they're probably guys might, that I'm talking about at they're at Fairmount. It's not true. Fairmount Bagel is a fake. They are not the original. The Leafs don't want to be seen losing in prime time. Well, they are losing in prime time. It's not correct, Phil. It's not. Where did you read? Where did you get that from? I'm curious just where you got that from. Oilers are winning 5-0. Yes, someone updated us already, but thanks. The Montreal Bagel Bakery, as it was called, was founded by... It was not founded by Isidore Schlafman. That's the lie. That's where the lie is. And these pieces of garbage lied like that. When we have proof, it's in my family. There's someone in the family who has proof of this. So write them back and tell them they're full of shit. So I want to say the Schlafman person, yeah, he partnered up with my great-grandfather, but my great-grandfather was already in business. So if he was already in business and then this guy came along to partner up with him, he's not the original guy. It's not. Yeah, you can see I have some passion about that. Sofka, I wonder if for you, like with all these new AI, the chat and all that, GPT, whatever, if you put your whole lyric, can't they translate that properly? Have you tried that? Not getting them to write, but getting it to translate for you properly. And just seeing what it does as far as translation. It might be good. Sofka, poems are like, I guess lyrics are like that because lyrics, I mean, a lot of poetry is are lyrics and songs. That's what it's all about. It's what I do. I come up with something, like say for a limerick where you got maybe 2 of the rhymes. Now you need a third on the bottom. So I just type into my browser rhymes with whatever the word is. There's a site that, right, it comes up with a whole list. I just go through the list until something pops in my head for it, and then I make up. I never know where some of this is going to go. I start with something, and I sort of drag it along to somewhere, and it ends. And that's how I write. It's weird, but that's how I write. A couple of my poems out there, I started with Phil giving me 2 lines, end up with a poem. Leafs are done if they lose the next game. Yeah, I think so. I think the Leafs are done now. I said I don't know if I said it here, but I said it to a bunch of people. They lose that second game, I think they're done. But I didn't think it was over till they lose that second game because the Leafs like to lose the first game of a series. They like to lose the series eventually too, but it seems like more often than not, if not all the time, they lose that first game in the last 10 years. So if they lose the second one, that's a different story, right? And they did. So I kind of think they're done. Everything you should know about the Montreal Bagel. 289, Jason Lee. This article was updated. So, but where did what newspaper or whatever? The word's not coming to me. Did you get that? St. Viator is still really good. It's just not. Here's the difference. They use sugar, I think, instead of honey. They don't use honey. You're supposed to use honey to make the bagels, not sugar. It's a little bit different. Comes out a little bit different. And you can tell if you know what you're talking, you can tell. And they don't, apparently they don't do that because it's too expensive. There you go. I just busted them. Do I know this 100%? I don't, but I know it 95%. I'm 95% sure that's what they do. Why I used to work in a restaurant. Bought the owner, who I was pretty close with and friends with, his friend is the guy that owns St. Viator Bagel. That's why I know that. And that's who I believe that's who my great grandfather sold it to, or that guy's father, one of the two. Bagels in Montreal are the best anywhere. They're the best anywhere. And I make bagels. I mean, I haven't in a while, but I mean, I can make bagels, pretty good ones too. Because I have the recipe. Not a hard recipe, and you can find it out there. Edmonton and Vegas seem like it's going to be an awesome series. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's what, 2 games? See what game 3 holds, because you might, if like I think if Edmonton like dominates them again, it might not be such a great series, and not too long. Edmonton's in store for some really dirty shit from the what are they called? Golden Knights. They're dirty. We played them, remember? It was horrible. And the refs were horrible. So yeah, the Oilers might actually have more be up against more than I think. Phil, I don't think the Leafs are going to advance. I think this really sets them back, because you got an aging, one guy is aging, right? The captain's old. The other guys, 2 or 3 players overpriced, and you have no defense or goalie, really. Although Samsonov's still young. Samsonov was pretty good at points, I think so. Do I remember Steinberg's? Of course I remember Steinberg's. You know how many years after they went out of business, that when I would say, okay, I'm going, for food, whatever, I'm going to Steinberg's. I wasn't going to Steinberg's, obviously, but still called the grocery store Steinberg's. The Leafs actually have an outstanding road record. That's probably true. But Bobrovsky plays the way he has, because he was fantastic in game number 2. He was fantastic. If he plays like that, the Leafs aren't beating them. Yeah, I felt. Let's hope we don't have to see that. I don't want to see them win the cup. My God, no. Phil, I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that article. I'm telling you, it's full of shit, but I'm interested to see what this idiot. I think I've heard about it. I think my sister probably told me about it. Are links blocked? Yeah, I can't put links. You can't put links in the chat, Jess. You found an interesting page about what? The bagels? Well, you're trying to. You don't believe your own dad. I mean, the history. Whatever is said about Fairmount being original, that's all a lie. It's all lies. Lies! Let's see. The Leafs won 3 road games against Tampa Bay. Yes, I know they did. This is what worries me. I want the Leafs to lose. I want them to lose too. Don't worry. I think they're down 2-0. Let's put it this way. If they don't win that next game, right? If it goes down up to if it's 3-0, these guys are done like dinner, because the pressure that they're under to win is going to make it, I think, pretty much impossible for them. They don't have the heart. They don't have the drive. They don't have that. There's some guys on there that do, but no. You can tell by Nylander that I think that's the what's the word I'm looking for? That sums up the Leafs. The way Nylander gets the puck, he's in the corner, he's got the puck, comes out away from the guy that's in the corner with him. He's all alone in the circle. He's all alone. There's nobody around, and he skates away from the goalie. Huh? Because he knew that if he turned to the net, he was going to get bombed. There were guys coming in, but he had time to shoot. No. So that to me, I saw that and I went, yeah, they're going to lose, man. They're going to lose. Duns is okay for smoke meat. If you want to smoke meat, you go to Schwartz's or Smoke Meat Pete's. Two best places. Cassidy could be let go like Gallant if the Golden Knights lose in the second round. Really? Didn't they just hire him, you think, after the first season? Jesse, it's a story about from the Seligman website. Yeah, that's John. I don't know him, but he's a relative. There's a Seligman website. It's the story of our family. They've got the family trees. I mean, I'm in there. I'm on that site. You guys are too, Jesse. We're all in that family tree. It's a really good, comprehensive website about our family. But I believe now it's interesting, Jess, that you got an article because I believe to get in there, I thought you have to be a member. I'm a member because I'm family, but I thought you had to be a member to get in there and see stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Me too. I'm hungry. Haven't eaten supper yet, though. These absolutely must win the next game or they are done. Absolutely. Because this is not a team that's going to be, well, we're down 3-1. We can come back. No, you can't. You're not going to. And from 3-0, they're not going to. Renegade Man, when did you hear that they're making the Metro go to the airport? That would be awesome if it came out here because I'm right near the airport. That would be kind of awesome. But I don't really know. What do I think of Montreal's transit system? If you're talking about the rail thing, I've never been on it. So in general, though, it's not the greatest system, and it's not as clean as it used to be. But the new trains are nice. I do like the new trains in the Metro. The last, I don't know how many years now. It's like about 5 years they've got them. Those are nice. Joe says no to Leafs. Habs could flip Florida pick at the draft or use it to draft a goalie or, use it in a trade. Anybody worried about where Florida's pick ends up? If it's 17th or it's 32nd, it wasn't going to move the needle. Like at all. It wasn't really. Unlikely to, unless they got really lucky in their draft and they did, then maybe, but reality says that wasn't. So why can't we cheer for the Panthers? I don't give a shit about the pick, where it ends up. Awesome, Jess. It's really awesome that that popped up first, and you can get the article. Now, I thought it was a members only site. I think it started out that way anyway, and we all got memberships. We got them offered. I took it. I don't know my password or anything right now, but I've been in there a few times. I've been listening to 590 AM radio station from Toronto. Why? Why? They're already so apologetic for the Leafs being down 2-0 as well. The announcers dissect every play and claim 1,000 penalties not called. Yeah. Are you sure apologetic is the right word? Or is it apoplectic? Am I right? I don't know. Apologetics the right word. Yeah, I mean, the refs are shitty, but I mean, I've heard them, really complaining about a couple of calls that, while not pretty, I mean, weren't penalties. I mean, it's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. If they go on to win the cup, it's the 32nd. I'm not saying Florida's going to win the cup. I'm not. I can see them though. They remind me, their stories are similar enough to what Montreal's was. I think the only difference is Florida didn't back into the playoffs. They had, if not the best, they were right up at the top of the league since the All-Star break. Montreal backed in. Other than that, though, I can see them being very much like that, make the finals maybe. I'm not saying they're going to win the cup, but Toronto's not winning the cup. The new airport transits. Are you talking about? No, okay. So you're talking about the rail thing. Nah, I've not been on that. Because there was talk about them actually having a metro line go up out here. My password is shit. The metro will be constructed in 2027 for the airport. Oh, yeah? Yeah, we'll see how it works. I don't know. I saw what the cars look like on the rail thing, but I doubt I'm going to use that. I really doubt I'm going to use that. Wow, there's 21 people. If you're having a good time, give a thumbs up. Appreciate that. And yeah, hey, everybody, pile in, ask a question, make a statement, say whatever you want. Let's have a conversation. I picked the Boston as well. Even though I think I said they might choke, but I mean, you can't really foresee the choke. I don't like Carolina. Did you see the big hit? KK laid on Hischier, I think. Big hit. Had a good night that night, too. 3 goals. Sufka says, Rick, is there a mentality difference between mostly English and mostly French-speaking women in Montreal? Yes, of course there is. 2 different cultures. We don't think alike. No. So if you're mostly French, mostly English, you don't think the same way, and you don't necessarily act the same way, and you're brought up a little different, and so it's 2 different cultures. So, of course there is, yeah. Metro for the airport done in 2027. Well, we'll see. If they said 2027, it means 2030. I was wrong picking the Bruins. No, I was wrong too. Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're gonna. I mean, they're already choking. 2 losses like that at home in the second round of the playoffs when you are desperate to win. You've stacked your team as like you've gone all in, and that's what you get. Yeah, I don't know. Plus, I wonder what's the points difference between Toronto and Florida. It was 42. No, it was 48 between Florida and Boston. Biggest ever. So it's not going to be that. But what's the difference between Toronto and Florida? I bet you it's a pretty big points difference, and it's going to be pretty embarrassing for them. Joe had picked the Hurricanes as the dark horse. I just don't. I don't like the Hurricanes, so I ain't picking them. I don't like the Bruins, but it looked like it was like should have been a easy pick. KK's got 2 goals today. KK's on a tear. All the Habs fans who want to hate on KK, which I do understand. I did it for a while. KK is starting to develop into the player we kind of thought he might be, right? He's starting to get it. He's starting to be, a good player. And what is he? Was he 25? Was it 23? 23, I think. Hasn't Montreal signed Caulfield yet? Apparently, I didn't read this. Someone just said earlier. Molson said it won't be. It'll be soon. Why? Don't know. We're gonna find. I dare say it's probably money. Like I'm not gonna be surprised if Caulfield gets more than we think he's gonna get. Slavka says he thought we were both Canadian in the end of the day. Yeah, no. And listen, I don't want to laugh at you because you don't know better. Obviously, you haven't been here. No, it's not. I agree with you. I do. The separatists don't. So the separatists here in Quebec, the French separatists, because they're French, the English aren't separatists. No, they don't think they're Canadian even at all. So Stephen, I kind of agree. Like this might be what's happening, right? Caulfield will only agree to the 8-year deal, for more than $8 million. That might be what it is. He wants to get paid. He knows that if he waits a little bit longer on a bridge, he knows he'll get paid more. So they're going to have to. I'm not going to be shocked if it's money. Yeah, Bob, it was you that said that. Yeah. So, anyways, it's overdue. Apparently, it was Tony Marinaro who broke the story that Caulfield, the signing will be announced by the end of the season. That was apparently Tony Marinaro listening to somebody like not even a journalist. So what does that mean? When Tony Marinaro says something, you sometimes got to take it with a grain of salt, or at the very least, double check. And that's his fault. Now I can do the same thing, and it's not the same because I'm not a professional journalist. Joe got the Avs for the Stanley Cup, and he was wrong. And yeah, so I mean, listen, it's a year where the top teams got knocked out, except Toronto and the Canes. Most of the top teams got knocked out. How do you predict that's going to happen? It's hard. Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it. If you look on the standings, it's Toronto, but you're probably right that it's Carolina. I think Toronto's done. What's taking so long? You'd have to be an insider to know, but it's probably the negotiation for the money and all the little details in the contract. Maybe it's bonuses. Maybe, there's a lot of things that could take time. Plus, they weren't in a rush. The schedules between everybody, that delays things. KK starting to earn his opportunities. Yes, Renegade Man. I agree with that. Just don't have a Canadian flag on your car in East End or your car will be vandalized. You're probably right. Yeah. Especially right now with that asshole of a premier that we have that's trying to, get the juices flowing for separation. So, yeah. And with so many idiots on the right side now, and literally they're idiots. We've proven this every day. It's proven in the media that they're idiots. And a lot, I think, yeah, the separatists and all that, they're on the right. And you go to the East End where it's French, with a Canadian flag, yeah, like going to Philadelphia with the other team's jersey and they kick the ass of the Flyers. Yeah, try to get out of there. Safka is pretty well put. We're kind of low key beefing with each other. Yeah, it's kind of how it is. But I mean, the beefing is on their side. I mean, they're forcing the fight. They're forcing it. They want to fight. I'll stand behind that. Heard the Cole Caulfield thing is literally within days. I'm trying to locate where I saw that. Working. As long as it's not Tony Marinaro. Vegas is on the board. Barbashev. It's 5-1 Oilers. ABL. Edmonton are rolling tonight to watch the Sherbrooke Halifax player. Are they waiting to see how the draw goes? If by chance they get Bedard, can they afford so many expensive contracts? Bedard won't be expensive right away. Going to be on a 3-year ELC. They got time. I don't know if it's like the amount of the contract. It's the number of contracts, right? They're only allowed 50. So they have to move some contracts if they're going to have an influx of a bunch. But as far as to be able to afford Bedard, it's not a problem. How are we doing? All right, so we need some more comments here. Because I got nothing. There's very little news. I think teams are pretty much they're waiting for the draft on Monday, the lottery. See where they are, see what they get, and then they can start figuring out, figuring things out. Bob, I would think. I mean, listen, it was a good surgeon. The guy did Josh Anderson, and Anderson said his shoulder is better than it was. That's probably going to be the case with Cole. Surgery went perfectly according to the surgeon, and I wasn't expecting it to be I really wasn't. So when you say according to what was it you said? If it's correct, then the Habs must have got some great news. What was the story? Did it say ballpark figure of what he'll get? Stan, good question. Now, I'm glad you asked that. Stan says, if the Habs get the 5th pick and Will Smith is available, will the Habs pick him? Now, I would have, up until a few days ago, I would have said absolutely. And I still think, of course, that's a really good possibility. Thing is, there was this Russian kid who's property of the Capitals. He just bought out his contract with the KHL. And that's what they have to do, right? You got to pay off your contract and they'll let you out. If Michkov does that, then he can get here earlier. Habs might pick him if he's still there. I don't think he's going to be there at this point. I think if that story is true and he's, I think Michkov might actually go probably number 4, 3 or 4. But Will Smith, he's worked his way up that list, and even at 5th, I kind of doubt he's going to be there. As much as that's the guy I want, I don't think he'll be there. If he is there, and Michkov's already gone, for sure. If Michkov's already gone and he's still there, they take him. I believe they'll take Smith for sure. I guess you heard the story on the father and daughter at the Leafs games with the opposing team jersey. Not really. I might have seen a picture like that, though. Oh, okay, Bob. So, but you don't know the amount or anything, so We don't know what it's going to be. Hey, Petty, how you doing, man? Been a while. Good to see you, though. I think Montreal needs a solid goaltender. I think they got one, personally, in Monty. Let's see what he does at the this World Championship. Monty is the goalie with Devin Levi. Let's see what he does. If Monty has a really solid performance in the games he plays, yeah, I think that's great, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think we got one in Monty. I think we need a second one though, because I don't think Jake Allen's going to be here forever, right? But I think we need a 1A 1B tandem, and I think we got one of those in the tandem already here. But I digress. Yeah, I'm a fan of Monty. I think Monty's going to be a good goalie. I'm not saying he's going to be fantastic and the best and all that, but I think he's going to be a good goalie, a really good goalie too, a great goalie one day. You never know if he'll rise to complete greatness or not. Petty, I've been up to the same shit. Nothing much different. Writing a lot. That's the only difference, really. Working on a book. How about you, by the way? Still playing hockey? Is Monty a goaltender that can take on a whole season? Well, if you have a tandem where you've got a 1A, 1B where they're basically splitting like Boston did with Swayman and Allmark, a goalie doesn't have to take on the whole season. Good point, Stan, because as I'm just going to paraphrase, but with the young defense, when they get better as well, better defense in front of Monty, he's going to be even better, right? Monty is not the next coming of Price, but there's some things that he does that is very Price-like. I think I like the way he tracks the puck, and I like the way his positioning and his side to side. I like that. I like his reflexes. It's pretty quick. That's the guy that wears the opposing team jersey for every game. Is that it? I saw something on Twitter about this guy. I didn't read the whole story though. Awesome, Petty. Best of luck with that. In other words, nobody wants to meet you in a dark alley if you're angry at them. But listen, best of luck with that. Seriously. That's pretty cool. Joe, I think you got it right. He has all the teams other than the Leafs. Because I think he wouldn't wear a Leafs one. I would never wear a Leafs jersey. Unless that's the only clothes there are, and it's either that or he will walk around naked. I would never wear Leafs clothing. Nope. Even if you couldn't see the logo, it was so small. There's no freaking way I'd put that on my body. I don't even like looking at other people wearing Leaf stuff. I don't want to be wearing it. Oh, Biel says someone bought him a Leafs jersey, but it stays in the closet. Yeah. You can't be a Habs fan, like a diehard, and there's no way you can't wear Leafs anything. Although how many Habs fans want us to be cheering for the freaking Leafs? Why? Something I don't understand. All for a draft pick. No way. Cole Caulfield contract could come within days and will definitely come before training camp. You see, there's such a big disparity in time there. That I don't know. That's weird to say that it'll come within days. Oh, but definitely within the next 3 months or 4 months, or was it 5 months? That's, I don't know. That doesn't sound like it's set and settled. Hey, Derek, how you doing? Gordon and Hughes are in negotiations with his agent and making great progress. But to then say, but by training camp, that's so far away. But I noticed that wasn't in the quote, so I'm not sure where you're getting that last part about the training camp from. Petty, no, no. I would not rather see the Leafs win anything over any other team. Nope, especially not a cup. You know how insufferable the Leafs fans will be if they win a cup. No, I'm good, Derek. I'm good. Thank you. What's my view on Gerard Gallant leaving the Rangers? Well, you know, if you take my video about Lafreniere, I mentioned in there, it kind of feels to me like Gallant and Lafreniere didn't get along. Maybe this was best for the Rangers to move on from a guy that's not happy and not giving a good opportunity to your first overall pick, and something wrong with that. Bob, I have not watched Habs Digest, so um, I'm glad they're stoked about it. That tends to make me think they were worried it wasn't going to happen. Well, I wasn't really worried about that, so I don't know why anybody was really worried it wasn't going to happen. Just because they let KK go to on an offer sheet, it wasn't the same management group. Number one, and KK and Cole Caulfield, two different players. I could see letting a guy. You know, I could see that with KK. I can't see that with Cole. And then again, KK's starting to show that maybe should have had a little more patience. Biel, good point. Gallant didn't bring Kane and Tarasenko in, and they kind of underachieved. Well, from what I understand, Kane was injured, and probably they shouldn't have traded for him at all because of the injury. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this is on Drury too. And like I had said, I don't know 100% that was the case about Lafreniere and Gallant, but from the stuff I read, I got that feeling. Stan the Man, I kind of think that might be true. What he says with Gallant gone, I guess Lafreniere talk of trade is done. It depends though, because they're top heavy in the top six, right? With big contracts and veterans and stuff. I don't know what they do. If they move some guys, yeah. If they don't, they might have to move a guy like Lafreniere. But I do tend to agree. I think possibly with Gallant gone, that Lafreniere is probably not getting traded. But again, I didn't put the video out to say the Habs have to get him. What I did was there's rumors. I was addressing the rumors and then saying that if Habs do that, I'd be okay with it. That was basically it. But there are rumors out there swirling around. But I wonder if those rumors will die down now after this happens. Hard to get a Habs jersey down there, eh? Weird that you can get those teams. I wonder why that is. and not a Habs jersey. I know Habs are very popular around the world. I mean, I imagine shipping is expensive, but you can't order one online like from here to have it shipped out there. I'm lucky I'm in the hometown, so we got Habs gear everywhere. Phil, but you know what? And I'm not saying you're wrong. He says KK's contract will be the prime focus of countless articles along the lines of worst contracts in the NHL, negative value NHL contracts for years to come. Maybe if he starts, I mean, it seems like he might be starting to come into his own. If he does that, like next season, I think he'll be 24. Still hasn't hit his prime. Then that if he can do that within the first 2 years of this contract that he's got, then yeah, I don't agree. I think it won't be a negative value, right? For last season, definitely he was overpaid, right? But at the end of the season, started to put it together. So we'll see what happens next year. If the second year comes around and he's a decent to good NHLer, then maybe not. For 4.8, is that what he's getting? 4.8 million. I wonder what is the norm now for a guy making 4.8 million as far as production. It's probably not as much as you might think. Bob, I did not say I didn't believe it. I didn't say I didn't believe it. It seems to me one thing that he's not lying about Molson when he was interviewed. Was it on? It was Knuckles interview, the podcast, where he says he doesn't tell them what to do or make decisions for them at all. It seems that he doesn't. He lets them do the job and they tell him about it and he writes the checks. So, and it's not like I don't believe it. I believe they will be signing him. It's kind of weird though that, the timeline that was given. But I mean, in what you said, your quotation marks, what I was concerned about wasn't in those quotation marks. So I don't know where you got that part from. But yeah, I mean, why would Molson not be telling the truth, I think? And you got to think that by this time, they're going to want to have him signed up by now. So I just figured it's money. It's the only thing I can think of that it's money that they're stalled on. Probably term and money, right? Both. I'm sure if he says, if you want me for 8 years, then you got to pay. I'm sure his agent wants a bridge deal because at the end of the bridge deal, if they're betting on themselves on Cole, he's probably going to be earning a lot more money on that contract after. So I bet you that's what it is. It's not going to shock me if he's going to get 10 million, 9.5, or maybe it's 8, but with a lot of bonuses, a lot of bonus money that he can earn. Something like that. Yeah, see, Bob agrees with me on the KK thing. I mean, the first year, but if the rest of the contract, he earns that contract, then it's money well spent. And if the end of the last season and now the playoffs, if it's any, like, it seems like he's up a level anyway, getting closer to the KK that I'm sure they think and that we thought here when he first got him. No, Stan, I don't know about that. Maybe after the lottery. I don't think they're gonna wait till the draft in June. It's in June, I think. To me, that's too long. You're looking at what? A month and change, month and a half or so? I don't know. But maybe you're right. P was here earlier. I don't know where he's gone. He's just gotten back home. He's probably, he's probably with the wife, I haven't seen you in so long. He's been gone for 2 weeks. So. And he told me, without a doubt, don't bother me for 2 weeks. I'm out. So I didn't bother him. He didn't say that to me, though. You're going to pour a Crown and Coke. I never had, that's Crown Royal, right? I've never had that. I'm not a big whiskey person. Is that whiskey? I don't really like whiskey. Vodka's really my drink. For some reason, when I was younger and started drinking a little bit, it was vodka. So. Whiskey is the key. I don't really like whiskey. I've tried it. If I have to do a shot, it's the only, I can't sip it or anything. I don't like the taste. But if you shoot it down, it's gone. Yeah. Now bourbon, which I think is bourbon a whiskey, but bourbon I can handle a little bit. I used to work in a restaurant owned by a couple of Greek brothers, and the brother that used to work at night, so I was working a night shift. Yeah, every now and then we'd have a shot or two of Metaxa. 7-star, I think usually he gave us the 5-star, but Metaxa, that's pretty smooth. Shots are for youthful inexperience. Well, then call me youthful inexperience. I don't mind that. I'm 60. Someone want to call me youthful, I'm happy. I'm not a drinker, so yeah, I'm inexperienced. But I remember I used to work at a place called, now this was in, God, what year? Mid-80s? At Pizza, it was called, right? It's still a franchise here, but it was new back then. No, sorry, Sergeant Pepperoni. Pizza was just before Sergeant Pepperoni. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Sergeant Pepperoni. I worked there for a few months. But I used to work a night shift. When we'd close, every now and then we'd go to the Cheers down the street and drink a little bit. So like we'd get in as much as we could. I remember a few times we'd go there and have like 4 shots and a beer. And then it was closing time. We drink as much as we could, and then drive home. Smart. I remember having 2-3 shots, one after the other, because the boss would come with us sometimes. When he came, he'd buy So getting pretty yeah, I can say it, pretty fucking too much to drive. I shouldn't have been driving. Bob, yeah, it is a great name. Not a great owner. It was a shitty guy running it. Well, the regional guy running it, that's where I met Mike Bossy's, it was his cousin, yeah, Mike Bossy's cousin. I work with Mike Bossy's cousin there. Nice guy. We became friends, golfed with him, but didn't get to golf with Mike. We were supposed to, he canceled. But we went golfing anyway. Keith Bossy. He was my boss there. I never went to Magnon's, but apparently the best roast beef, right? It was for roast beef? Apparently great there, but I never went to Magnon's. I sort of pass it, cross the canal when I go down on the bike path downtown. Gone a couple times. But yeah, Magnon's, it's not there anymore. I believe it's closed up. And not that long ago. 4 shots and a beer, way over the limit. I know, but this was mid-80s. Roast beef, yes. Never ate there. Too bad, though, because I heard many people say the best roast beef anywhere. But no, never ate there. Yeah, Derek, I know it's closed, but I want to say sometime in the last 5 years, maybe it's a little longer. Not that much longer. BL, 5-star, when you say that, is that the Metaxa? That's a Greek, I believe, a Greek bourbon. So it's Metaxa 5-star. They have Metaxa 7-star, which was a little better. That's what I remember anyway. Phil says beer is really one of the very few non-sugar loaded drinks around, been around for millennia, has typically less than 6 ingredients, is often the safest drink around, and even has easy calories. If you drink a light beer, but come on. I'm sorry, beer is fattening. Shots are fattening. Hard liquor is fattening. Stan, did Shea Perry have good roast beef, or the girls were hot enough that you didn't really care? Is Shea Perry closed? Or I think it's not, but it's not the same. It's not as it's different, I think, there, but it might be closed. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been down there. Derek, yeah, I think in the last 5 years it closed. So it could be like in the last 3. I know for a fact though that it is closed. As a matter of fact, I remember when I saw that it was closing, I was like, I thought it had already closed. so there's that. Let's see. We'll try to go another 12 minutes and make it an hour and a half. Give a thumbs up if you're having a good time. Hope you are. And if you haven't said hi, say hi, ask a question, make a statement, whatever you want to do. And yeah, let's have a conversation for the last 12 minutes. About what? I don't know. We could talk about the draft lottery, but what's to talk about except, it's not like the draft where you can figure out who they're picking and all that. We're at the mercy of those balls in that machine. BL says, go for the roast beef, stay for the prime rib. Prime rib. Why is Pabst the best beer to buy in Montreal? Who said that? Isn't Pabst like piss water? More so than Bud or Coors, which I like Bud and I like Coors, but I mean, basically for beer, kind of piss water. Just said, I have the change to go to Mania. I'm not sure what you mean, but you've been there before, right? Great food. I've just never been there. BBB is another place. Barbie Barn. Is that still open though? I think maybe the West Island one is. The downtown one. Well, maybe it's the downtown one that's still open. I don't know. I want to say I've never eaten there. I've never eaten there. I think I've had a couple of ribs once. Someone brought it home, but I've never eaten there. It's weird to say Barbie Barn. Imagine someone in Montreal never ate a Barbie Barn. Phil, well, that's kind of what I said, right? Bud Light, Coors Light, it is kind of pissy. But I don't know. Perhaps I haven't tried it. The cheap American beers that I have tried here, an ex-girlfriend of mine used to like to drink them. No, I couldn't. No, not for me. BL, I disagree. I like Coors Light, but I mean, it's a subjective thing. But as far as like, if you drink those, like, what do I want to say? But a long time ago, before we moved out to the West Island kind of permanently. I knew somebody who worked in a beer store. Let's put it that way, in NDG. So I'd go in, and whatever, talk to the guy, and I get to sample some of these beers that they had brewing there, like real beers. Pretty good stuff compared to Bud and Coors and Pabst and Schlitz. Carling Black Label. Oh, boy. Not for me. Barbie Barnes closed downtown, so then they're closed because I believe the West Island locale is also closed. Giselle, Pabst is Blue Ribbon. Isn't it Pabst Blue Ribbon? The Silver Bullet. I don't mind the Silver Bullet. It's not bad. Same like Bud. No different. What stripper? I don't remember. For Coors, there was a stripper? I don't remember that. Hey, Massimo, how you doing, man? So they're still open on the West Island. I thought it was closed there. There you go. Massimo says Barbie Barn on the West Island. Still open, but shit. Nothing's the same anymore anyway. Joe, I personally haven't really had too many craft beers or micro. There's a lot of them though here. There's some like bars you go to, and the bar is like a microbrewery and stuff. And yeah, I couldn't tell you. I know I've seen there's so like they put like, I don't know, they make beer out of anything now. I don't know what they taste like though. Gisland Dow though, listen, it's a legendary beer here, I think. I don't know that was a good beer though. That was a strong beer. And O'Keefe, Molson O'Keefe products, I don't really like. Yeah, Lucas Massimo said he's eaten there recently, so it's still open, but not good. Foster's Aussie for beer, not from a well. Joe say that's not from an Australian, I don't think, or it's the other one. That's not very good. Maybe Foster's is better. What's the other one I'm thinking of? Guinness? No, Guinness is Guinness a beer? Yeah, Guinness. Apparently Guinness not. Us Aussies don't like Guinness. So Joe, tell us, Guinness or Foster's, which is better? Oops, I had to scroll. There was a place with Applewood, and I'm not sure, in the West Island. I don't know. Have I ever been to B12 Burger? Nope. Legendary strong beer from here. Only one good. Whoa, that jumped. Good one. Fandimone, 9%. To me, 9% too strong, but I'm not a big beer drinker. Stan says he was in Australia, and Victoria Bitter was very popular. See, this is what I suspected. Was that why Dow closed? Just alcohol poisoning? Because people got alcohol poisoning from it? Joe says no one drinks Foster's here. It has not been sold here since the 80s because it's not real beer. Guinness is a UK beer? Okay, there you go. So Derek says Barbie Barn blaming their lousy ribs on the supplier. Yeah, that makes sense. So Guinness, I got it wrong. Guinness is good. Foster's not. Not that I'm going to drink any. I like light beers. I do better with light beers. in Jasper. Well, I mean, the craft beers and that kind of stuff here are apparently very popular. I've never had any. So Guinness, good for tarring shingles on your roof, says BL. But it's all subjective, right? Everyone's tastes are different. Peel in Notre Dame was the Dow Brewery. I didn't know that. That's cool. Well, Phil. No, I believe you. You can make a lot of things with beer as an ingredient. 100%. That's what I was getting at, Phil. Foster's is the beer that Hollywood thinks the Aussies drink. That's what I was getting at. And it's not true. Aussies will tell you no. Supplier they had for their ribs went out of business during COVID, but the supplier makes the cooked product unedible. It should still be okay though. So I think it's the cooks, in my opinion, without knowing for sure. Guinness is also good for undercoating your vehicle for the winter. Oh, I get what you're saying, Giselle. That sounds really good. Ribs smoked over applewood. If the rub is good, that sounds really good actually. And I don't know. I'm wondering if it's that smoke that like it's an American restaurant or something, American style or whatever, but it's a smoked foods. Can't remember the name of it. I've had a few Sleeman beers. They're not bad. 5-1 Oilers, 2:30 left in the third. They will be winning. Cooper's Sparkling Ale, 5.8%, and has yeast sediments in it. I would think that's something you find like at the liquor store. Did you say this before, Ghislain, or somebody else said La Fin de Monde? Phil did. Phil said La Fin de Monde. Right. Phil said it. Massimo Smoked Meat Pete, second best smoked meat in Montreal. About the same as Schwartz says. Smoked Meat Pete's got good smoked meat. You can't beat Pete's meat. That's their slogan. Only his wife is allowed. Guru, the stupid controversy over Bud Light. Hopefully, we won't have that in this chat here. Try beers from Dieu du Ciel. So that means Ciel, that's a rainbow, right? So God of the Rainbow, is that what it is? If you translate? They brew great beers. I'm not surprised to hear that, Bob. He says Sleeman's is from his hometown. Fun fact, most people here in Guelph hate Sleeman's beer. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. I could drink it. I've had a couple of them in my day. So, Phil, you're saying when you go out to the corner there and you got to pick up your wife, kind of pick up, I mean, you also pick up some beer. Just joking. La Fin de Monde. I never heard of it, honestly, but a 9% beer to me sounds too strong for me. Sleeman's not a popular beer. I wouldn't know. All I know is I've had probably 2 of them in my life, and they're okay. Not better than that, but drinkable. Whereas there were a couple beers my ex-girlfriend used to like. They're not drinkable. Not for me, anyway. Oh, well, it looks like it's the time. That's funny, Phil. Sleeman's is apparently the 4th largest brewer in Canada. Really? Oh, well, 4th largest doesn't get you much. Rickards Red. I might have tried one. I don't think I liked it, honestly. Yeah, I did try Rickards, actually, a couple of summers ago. I didn't like Rickards, personally. You know what I do like? Rolling Rock. That's a good beer. I like Rolling Rock. I don't think you get it everywhere, but pretty good beer. Phil, I think I tried the white. I think I bought a couple of them, and I didn't like either of them. Stella Artois. I've never tried that. You don't like Boreal? It's Boreal. L'Oreal is for hair. I don't think you want to drink L'Oreal. I doubt that tastes very good. Is that a real beer? Blanche de Chambly? I'm making fun, but yeah, why would there be a microbrewery up there? I guess they're everywhere. So, all right, I'm going to be taking off because I got supper to eat and stuff to do. I've been out all day. This was fun. How about BL? I got to answer that. Ever drink any Shine, Rick? Funny story. My dad and his I guess my stepmother, I don't remember what year, in the 90s, at some early 90s, moved into a lower duplex in Côte-des-Neiges, and it had a little shed in the back, and it was like a little work shed. So underneath the work table were a bunch of bottles of freaking moonshine, and they were strong and they were good. So yeah, I have had moonshine. Is strong. Blanche de Chambly. Well, now that's not the same thing. You spelled it differently. Is Chambly is a town. Chambly like that, that's not the same thing. Unibrew. Hey, J Bats, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm leaving soon too, so but good to see you out there. And sorry about the comment. I left it for Matt. I saw it there. I didn't want to answer for him, so sorry it took him a while to get to it. Weed is better than moonshine. Well, to each his own. I'll say that. Hey Stan, thanks. Appreciate it. It was fun tonight. I had a lot of fun. So before I go, Monday, 7 o'clock till roughly 9, maybe a little later, the Draft Lottery show. So we'll be here live for the Draft Lottery. Yeah, so we'll see then. I'm getting ready for that as we speak. I'm starting to prepare, and hopefully we'll get lucky and have something to really celebrate. That would be really nice. So thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to go have my supper. Have a great night. A lot of time left still. We are Saturday night, so Saturday is a lot of time. Hope you enjoy that. Till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all, and I'll see you soon. Ciao, everybody.